back, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This month's guest, we have
somebody we've been following for years on socials.
Yeah.
Somebody we've following years.
Yeah, and she used to be a chef for the rich and famous, had to leave because of her own health issues, started on her own health journey of discovery and getting her body to heal and repair. And she's now a mum and a health influencer on Instagram. And today she's going to talk to us about a compound and a plant that many people reach for when they've got the sunburn, but they're missing out on so much more.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Laura Ramos.
Welcome, Laura.
Welcome to the Wellness Superheroes, Laura. We're thankful that you took the time out of your crazy busy schedule to chat with us about some pretty awesome things. We've been following you way back, probably since you were doing Mrs. Rogers Hood's parasite cleanses and whatnot.
Big fans. We're big fans.
We are big fans. So tell us a bit about your health journey and how it led you to finding acemannan.
I actually started talking about this earlier today. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with autoimmune, essentially, rheumatoid arthritis. It started out, I had severe pain in my hip. And I cooked for a living, and you need to be able to walk, but it was debilitating to the point where every step was painful. If I moved my body a certain way, sometimes I would literally fall to my knees in pain. I sought so many different avenues with people, massage therapists, acupuncture, rolfing, chiropractors, and osteopaths to get hopefully some answers. Had an MRI done. Everybody had a different opinion, and I was presented with two choices, surgery or meds, and that was all they gave me. So I started reading everything I could and just self-experimenting, which eventually led me to fruitarian and frequencies and parasite cleansing. And one naturopath in particular, I'm trying to condense it because it's 10 years of all this stuff. One naturopath in particular, I was seeing 3 times a week doing therapies for a couple of months because I had shingles kept coming back. And I'm like, I just don't know what's going on. I couldn't go back to work because it's contagious, etc. And from there, I learned about parasites and everything. But the more I learned, and all those things I did served a purpose, of course. But now that I know at the root of it was all immune dysregulation and miscommunication, I think all those therapies would have given me faster results. They all would have made more sense at the time because I was struggling for years. But after literally being on the merry-go-round of supplements and protocols and cleanses, I stumbled upon acemannan on an Instagram post. A friend of mine actually was talking about it. And I was like, when the light bulb goes off and you're like, there's something special about this. And I said, send me everything you have. I have to read this. And she's, oh, it's amazing. She doesn't really even talk about it anymore. But I was like, this is it. The safety profile, what it's doing, the science, the studies behind it. It's not short of information. It's not low. You can explain it clearly to break it down how it works. The fact that it's safe for pregnant and nursing and children, mothers and nursing children. You know what I'm saying? You can't do parasite cleanses if you're pregnant or nursing.
No, you can't.
Certain things you can't give to children. You have to be careful with frequencies as well. And a lot of supplements, like the whole world of supplements, like I feel like the veil is being lifted and we're really seeing like the truth that we don't, but that's another conversation. But anyways, I started taking acemannan, and within a few days, my anxiety lifted. After a few months, my tinnitus was disappearing, allergies completely gone, zero body pain. I was sleeping better. My periods were practically undetectable. I didn't know they were coming until I actually started bleeding. And before, I would have raging PMS, PMDD. It was horrible. And now I can tell, it's so weird. I feel it more when I ovulate than I actually do when I get my period. Like I'm like, oh, I'm ovulating, but I don't know when my period's coming. And just most recently, I did have a miscarriage, but the first miscarriage I had, I did the standard, you have 4 weeks bleeding, you're healing, and usually a couple of months for the body to regulate, and then you start ovulating again. This last one, which is I'm like, should I even say this? Is this really real? But I know my body almost to the day. the whole process of the miscarriage was 2 weeks. I only bled for 2 weeks total.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
And a week and a half later, I was ovulating again. So there's something like the communication within my body has drastically improved in the past 2 years of taking the acemannan and drinking the
Mhm.
aloe, because the communication within, like, between myself and my body with what's going on is like on another level now. Whereas before I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And now it's almost like intuitive.
Wow.
Sorry, long story long.
That's
No,
okay. Yeah.
that's amazing.
So,
But yeah.
so tell us,
Mm.
first of all, so you've been talking about acemannan. For those people who don't know what that is, describe what that is.
Okay, so acemannan is, believe it or not, it's one of the most studied plant compounds across the board. It's a mannose-rich acetylated polysaccharide. I'm going to look off to the distance so I can remember, because
No,
there's so
all
much
good.
behind it, but it's an acetylated long-chain polysaccharide found on the inner leaf gel. And it's very
Aloe
special.
vera.
Of aloe vera,
Yes.
correct. It is highest in the Miller variety, but you can find it in Ferox or Aborison's aloe as well. There's only about 3 or 4 edible aloes out of about 200 species, so you want to make sure you're getting the right one.
Oh, wow.
But the presence of it is determined by the age of the plant. So you want a 3-year mature plant, if not older. But it's got $200 million worth of research behind it. They discovered it back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was almost approved as a pharmaceutical drug, but it didn't meet the criteria because it didn't perform as a pharmaceutical drug. And it showed incredible promise in animal trials. And when I tell people that, they're like, if it was so great in animal trials, it would have gone on to human clinical trials. And it's not. When it threatens an industry, it doesn't.
Wow.
Hello.
And it does have human clinical trials. But once they saw what it was doing and the fact that they weren't going to create repeat customers or repeat clients, we're not going to spend any more money into this.
Exactly. Aloe vera has been around forever, right? And people have been using it topically and the juice and all that stuff. But the discovery of acemannan, that was the thing you said in the 80s, which has become like this amazing compound, right?
It's the secret as to why aloe is so influential.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
in a nutshell, it's an immune modulator. So
Wow.
it creates balance. It doesn't boost anything. So when I talk about how it's helpful for people going through cancer treatments and stuff like that, it's not because it's directly influencing the cancer. It's waking up and regulating the system that does.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. So what's the
So-
difference between taking acemannan and like drinking aloe vera juice?
Well, acemannan is very delicate.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours of cutting the leaf from the plant, it's already begun to degrade. You only have about 24 hours. Realistically, you want to be working with it within the first few hours of cutting. So if you're going to grow your own plants, which I do as well, if you're going to eat it yourself, you need to drain the latex first. That's all the latex, the aloe, that's where the anthocyanins are, and that gives it its laxative properties, which it historically have been beneficial, but too much can be dangerous, like with a lot of things.
Yep.
The plant needs, like I said, needs to be 3 years mature. You remove the green skin, and eating it, you get the whole plant synergistic properties. It has a great amino acid profile. The nutrients alone, the mucilage, it's very healthy. But acemannan specifically, I better slow down because I get excited and I talk fast when I start talking about
No,
it.
go. We
Go
love
for it. Go for it.
Acemannan specifically, when you're taking a quality stabilized extract, you're getting way more targeted support. You would to equate. Okay, so for example, the company that I really love, they have 2 different size bottles. There's one that has 56 capsules and one that has 112. To equate the amount of acemannan in the 56 capsule bottle, you would need to drink about almost 45 gallons of fresh aloe.
Wow.
That's a lot. I don't know anybody that could do it. I love a challenge, but I don't think I could do that.
you. It's
So
a bit much.
it's pretty, eating the fresh aloe is very beneficial. But if you're really struggling, I suggest doing the supplement for a while. It's a plant extract. It's not like a typical supplement where you're overriding metabolism or bypassing metabolism or overriding biological pathways. The body knows exactly what to do with it. So if you have raging allergies or you've been struggling with autoimmune, this is just something that helps come in and calm things down so that the body is, oh, this is how we do that. So it's something, I think it's very special. And I love that it's not something you have to be dependent on, but
Mhm.
it is so effective because the body recognizes it as it's because the mannose is so predominant. It's a
Right.
polysaccharide chain with heavy mannose, and the body knows exactly what to do with it. So you're not, none of it's getting wasted. It's not, has to take a couple of months for the body to be like, oh, I guess we know what to do with this now because it's natural, it's not synthetic.
So, Laura, our minds are spinning. So I've been using this for the last few months. I ran out. And like what you were saying earlier about your cycle, my first cycle when I was having it was a non-event. And I, like you, get really rageful at a certain time of the cycle. And so now I'm back on it. My cycle I had when I was back on it, it was the worst pain I'd ever had. I was like, oh my God, so glad you're back. But it was a rough one. That aside, I was addressing issues for SIBO earlier in the year, leaky gut SIBO, which I think, by the way, 99% of the Western population would have some form of gut
Yeah.
health issues.
Yep.
Anyway, and so I was put on all these supplements and they say, oh, supplement with all the vitamins that you're not taking, take pre-fiber, which acemannan and aloe vera is, by the way. Anyway, so I've been taking that and was like, okay, then we'll just have a play. I'll expose myself to some garlic, to something and whatever, and see if I react. And I didn't. And so this alone, I'm like, I've stopped taking all the other things. I'm like, I'm not going to run out of this thing ever again.
Same.
I swear. It's been amazing. And it's wild that people like my family right now are dealing with colds and stuff and they're fighting that off and they're like, oh, what can I grab? What can I grab? It's just take a handful of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's some juice. Drink some aloe vera juice. It's
Yeah.
wild that people will reach for something to inject. They'll queue up for that, or they'll be in a hurry to go and get some vitamin C from the supermarket when they could really be taking something that's growing in their garden.
I know.
Exactly. So tell me what happened with your hip.
So I started with food because food is foundational.
Mhm.
And I'm a radical person. If I see something cool, I'm like, I'm just going to go all in and not hold back. So I can still remember I was working on boats at the time and I was cooking for the rich and
Famous.
whatever, the rich and famous. And my first meal was a punnet full of raspberries and blackberries. And I was like, this isn't so bad. I could do this. And that kind of progressed. And then I started getting really out of control. I shouldn't say out of control, but in a good way, where I was just eating fruit, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I wasn't hungry. And I don't know if it's because my body was so nutrient depraved. I had a really bad lifestyle. For someone that cooked for a living, I knew nothing of nutrition. I was a very high functioning alcoholic, drug addict.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, my body was not a temple. So the pain was continuously improving until when things fade, and this is Ace Mana works this way too. When you're working on a cellular level and you're actually addressing the root, the body, it's such a gradual, slow improvement that one day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, it doesn't hurt anymore. Because it happens slowly over time because the body doesn't do
Right.
anything. The body doesn't do anything fast.
No.
And eventually the pain went away completely. I did a few parasite cleanses. I was doing electrolymphatic drainage. I was using frequencies. I was doing hot yoga. I was like hitting everything I could.
Right.
But I would notice from time to time that the pain would kind of come and go. I would attribute it to improper form from an exercise move. When you have inflammation, especially something like rheumatoid arthritis, where you're in debilitating pain, you're never really too sure if that's what it is, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So,
Personally, I know.
oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm suffering from hip pain. Yeah.
And it makes life not worth, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I can't
It's like,
exercise like I used to, and I can't live the life I used to have. It's very depressing.
yeah, I was in a rough spot, but the body is resilient and the body heals. And
Yes.
over time, things take time, but to see where I was then and now, it's
I remember when Annie
Oh,
pushed something recent from you when she started following you about Ace Mannon, and I was like, oh my gosh, she looks amazing. I could see the difference because for some reason, you weren't in my algorithm anymore and I hadn't seen your content. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is she doing? We need to do whatever she's doing.
I tell them, I'm like, it's the aloe, and I have a really fantastic esthetician.
Yeah.
But I really do think that the aloe has
Well, you look healthy, you look really healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel good. I mean,
Yeah.
3 kids makes you tired, but, you
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
feel like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the pain once you're free of the pain, it's life is enjoyable, but it's hard, and that's another reason I share about Ace Man, and it's because sometimes it's just enough to move the needle to where people are like, "Okay, I'm hopeful that I can feel better and that I can
Yeah.
enjoy life again," because a lot of them have lost hope,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially the chronic illness, autoimmune disease is endemic right now.
Yes.
But you get sent, I'm sure, hundreds of you can correct me, hundreds of testimonials a day from people who see your content and start implementing using aloe vera and acemannan. So what are some of the most impressive and uncommon health benefits of acemannan that people are telling you in your inbox?
Okay, so I don't get hundreds a day, but I get them every single day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm crying because it's just, oh my gosh, like I get to be a part of your healing progress. And I'm just the messenger. I firmly believe God put this plant on the earth for a reason. All healing goes to him. I'm just a steward of the message.
Yeah.
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 But okay, so a friend of mine, more like an acquaintance, I knew her when I lived in Fort Lauderdale. Her daughter has a genetic predisposition for tumor growth, and it started at 21. It's now down to 4
Wow.
for tumor
Wow.
markers. That one, and some of the other ones are just the autoimmune. People with lupus, like the lesions are clearing up. Their pain is disappearing.
Just from adding acemannan to their wow.
Yeah. Because it's often everybody's doing all the things. They're doing
Mhm.
everything they possibly could, and it's just a little piece that makes it all make sense, to wake the body up and be like, "Okay, now we understand what we're supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
But the tumor markers lowering, and I've had a few where fibroids have shrunken and disappeared completely, which is huge for women. Most of the time, they
Mhm.
just wanna cut them out.
Right.
There's been a few about cancer as well,
Yeah.
and even white blood cell count improving on chemo. So it's fantastic support. I want to be clear, it's not a cure. It's not
Yeah.
a replacement for
Exactly.
No,
treatment,
it's the
but
body doing
people,
all the work, right? It's the
yeah, your
body
body
doing
is
all the
what's
work.
doing it, your immune
It's
system.
yeah.
And
It's you're supporting your body.
any good oncologist will tell you the best defense against cancer is a healthy, fully functioning immune system.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. And some of your content that you're an amazing educator, by the way. I do. I
Thank
love how excited
You
you get
are.
about it, and your videos they send me sometimes. I'm just like, it's funny and educational. I love it. It's my favorite things. But you've been talking about nitric oxide recently. You've been comparing it to colostrum. Can you draw some of those analogies and explain how that
for
works?
for the acemannan and
Yeah,
colostrum.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so from my understanding, and I could be wrong. I always say that I could be wrong and I could remember it wrong, but colostrum provides pieces, whereas acemannan retrains the system.
Wow.
To put it simply, I personally do not prefer colostrum because a lot of people are allergic to dairy, and it doesn't work well for them. It stops working when you stop taking it, whereas acemannan is repairing something at its core. So even if
Yeah.
you stop taking it, there's still going to be some time where the body is still where it needs to be to perform properly. Oh my gosh, I've just completely blacked out.
That's all right.
I've
Alright.
lost my train of thought.
Because some of your content has the conclusion I've drawn based on reading it is that acemannan, the polysaccharide chain
Yes.
goes in and unlocks resetting our immune system to some form of or unlocking DNA memory.
So how it works is because it's mannose heavy, right? Now, all your macrophages have these little mannose receptors all over the cell. And that's meant to that's usually going to pick up on bacteria and fungus and other pathogens because those things are very mannose heavy. Because the acemannan is mannose heavy, it plugs into those receptors
Yep.
and it wakes up those macrophages as if it were a pathogen. So then it starts sending messages back and forth. It's going to start waking up neutrophils, natural killer T cells,
Yeah.
and the immune system is going to go into, okay, let's start looking for all the problems, and it sort of
Yeah.
wakes up the scouts.
Yeah.
Um, hold on. My heart's beating so fast because I get worked up about it. I was just writing more about this. As that happens more, you have
Yeah.
an M1 and an M2 response with macrophages, a Th1 and a Th2 response. The problem, we'll use allergies as an example.
Yep.
The problem is those two, if they're not balanced, if one is more than the other, you start having the issues. The immune system starts misinterpreting friend for foe, good and bad. When the acemannan starts activating everything and the messages start becoming clearer, that balance returns and the allergies start to disappear. The overreaction, the histamine dumping stops happening because at the core, the messages were getting mixed up because there wasn't enough coherent cells doing what they were supposed to be doing. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, when people are looking for an aloe product, what do they need to look for on the label that's going to give them the most beneficial amount of acemannan?
Labeling's really tricky, as I am learning, because I've looked up people send me companies all the time. They're like, what do you think of this? And when I read the label, if it is not, if it doesn't, because usually they're not going to say acemannan, they'll say like a
Yeah.
proprietary name for it.
Yes.
But if they don't say that specifically with the amount and the milligrams, it's a red flag, because there's one company in particular, I'm not going to name names, but there's one company in particular that lists all the polysaccharides in aloe vera as part of their ingredient list. But the reality is it's freeze-dried aloe vera gel. It's not been isolated or stabilized. So you really don't know what you're getting. And then when you see the dosing chart they give you, that's a lot. That's a lot of pills to be taking. And that's you can always reach out to the company and ask for a certificate of analysis to verify. And I encourage people to do that. I said, if you don't use aloe vera, just make sure you're asking what you're getting, because they can say anything they want. Marketing's very deceptive.
So
But
tell us
there's
why you chose the company that you use, aloe vera. That's how you say it?
aloe vera.
Uh-huh.
Aloe vera is very special because they have the newest patent in stabilization technology of acemannan. You have to have a patent for it. You don't patent the plant, you patent the process.
Oh,
And
okay.
yes, so Dr. Santiago Rodriguez, who's been there from the beginning, he's an organic chemist that originally isolated and stabilized the molecule. The first patent went to a company called Manatech. A lot of people know that name, and their product was called Manipol. Over the years, things have changed, and the product changed completely, and it became Ambritose, which is like a blend. So now you really don't know how much acemannan you're getting, and you're getting other things as well, which isn't a bad thing. It's great for gut health. Aloe vera has the same product, but they're the only ones actually doing a strictly stabilized acemannan. You're getting the most per gram. They are 4 times the strength of most of the stabilized acemannans on the market. The compound was Dr. Rodriguez was able to further isolate and stabilize the compound. That means an intact polysaccharide chain and guaranteed acetylation, because when you extract it, if you don't protect those things, like if acetylation gets damaged, if the chain gets fragmented, that's all going to show up within the body. It loses bioactivity and bioavailability. So when you're buying, say, just a regular freeze-dried aloe plant, yeah, that can preserve it to an extent, but if you take 4 of those and you take 4 immune, you're definitely going to see it. Your body's going to know the difference, so to speak.
Right.
So Dr. Rodriguez, when he figured out a better way to stabilize, that gave him a new patent, which he gave to Sam Castor, who was one of the original founders of Manatech, and he started aloe vera. So now they have the strongest acemannan on the market, and they have exclusive rights to it as well. There's a few Yeah, there's a few other companies that are coming out with acemannan products, and they're getting some of the marketing wrong because it's an older generation of aloe. This is like, I feel like this might be confusing, but they're using something that's older, and at the time, they're the 4 times stronger applied then, but aloe vera's product is as good as you can get. So it has the highest amount of immune modulating fractions per gram, which means the highest compatibility within the body, the highest bioavailability within the body.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're the only ones doing, you buy immune, it's just acemannan. It doesn't have the other glyconutrients that people are using to extend the acemannan, if you will.
Yeah.
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 So-
You've mentioned that it's really good for immune, all that sort of stuff. It also, I would imagine, if you're consuming the leaf, what's the comparison between consuming the leaf? You mentioned a little bit earlier, but to the capsules, you'd have to take a whole lot in order to consume a whole lot of aloe to make that match. But you've mentioned that there's only a few plants to grow that you can consume, and you said the miller. Is that the most common one that people find in their garden, or have you seen some people send some photos, go, oh no, they don't consume that?
Yeah, sometimes they send pictures and I'm like, okay, it looks like it, but spots on a mature leaf are a dead giveaway. If the leaf is super thick, and you can just tell by the shape of the leaf. I tell them to look for the candelabra aloe. It's the classic. They sell it at Trader Joe's, at Home Depot. They won't, it won't say Miller. It will say, from all the literature I've read, even if it just says aloe barbadensis, it still works.
Okay.
But 3 years mature. And contrary to what I used to believe, I used to think that aloes liked full sun as a succulent, but they don't. They prefer a bit of shade, well draining soil, and they actually like wind.
And it's hard to kill an aloe vera plant, isn't it? I mean,
Oh my gosh, they thrive on neglect.
yeah, exactly.
They thrive on, ignore it. Just don't look at it.
Literally, I think I've said to you, I don't even know if I did, but we've got one in a pot. It's like a plastic terracotta looking thing, and it's been there for 20 some years. And so when I saw your content, I was like, oh shit, I better go and look after these things that has been totally neglected, but it's been living there. Like, it's been fine. The leaves
Yeah.
look a little pink at the time.
Yeah.
And so I've separated them out, and they've gotten really big. Basically, what, one, are they a hand? Is that what it's called? Like a hand or fingers? What are they
Yeah,
called?
it looks like things. Everybody has kind of their different ways of describing it. But for me, it's almost like if you were to take an octopus and hang it upside down,
Yes.
that's the way it grows. It's very,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful plant.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And-
so just pass out one of those into each pot, and then it'll go nuts.
Yeah. And when
Yeah.
and when they're happy, they proliferate. Oh my gosh, you'll have aloe for life. If you put it somewhere happy.
Oh yeah. But it's also one of those plants that if you put in your garden bed, it'd take over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I've read that it does better in a garden and not by itself. It likes to be around friends.
Yeah.
But if it's happy, yeah, it could definitely take over.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I imagine that consuming, just because I'm so literal, the gel structure of the leaf would help with things like hydration.
I noticed a huge difference when I started drinking, because I used to teach hot yoga, and you can't drink enough water.
Yeah.
Take the minerals. I hate electrolytes. I think they're disgusting.
Yeah.
Man-made electrolytes are just,
Sure.
coconut water goes so far,
Yeah.
but the nutrients in the aloe vera work. You're hydrating the cell membrane, so the water will actually get in.
Mhm.
And it has, oh my gosh, I forget how many amino acids or minerals. It's a great source for minerals, for amino acids. The mucilage coats everything. But I will wake up in the middle of the night and drink aloe instead of water sometimes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so thirsty. And then I just slug some aloe, and you honestly feel the difference. And let's not even get started on the amazing poops that you have when you
Oh
drink.
yeah. Aloe
Well,
vera.
we could talk
My
about-
dad was a big proponent of aloe vera
Oh,
for constipation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the questions I've had from people, because I've already been talking about Aceman and I couldn't help myself. I was like, we're talking to someone. She's amazing. But until then, this is what I understand about it. But someone had said that aloe vera increases the cytokine storm or something. Is that, and you were talking a little bit about that before. in receptors and all that sort of stuff. Is that kind of what it does, or does it do the opposite?
It So it activates, but it doesn't overstimulate.
Okay.
So it'll activate them, but it will also keep them regulated,
Yeah, okay.
which has been, especially for people with MCAS, that's been a huge concern. And when it's someone with something severe like that, where anything can set it off, it's best to start very low and slow. Like I spoke to a woman, she was like, "Oh, I was really hopeful for this, but I just every time I take it, I feel like I'm having a flare because it will mobilize stuff." And we call it more of an adjustment symptom because it's not a Herxheimer's reaction. It's very uncomfortable, but the slower you start and give the body time to adjust, I think she started with half a capsule a day
Oh,
and
wow.
had to work up from there. But she did it over the course of, I think, 3 months. And she was like, "I'm so glad I didn't give up because my everything has changed." I've lowered my medication. I feel so much better. I can eat these foods. So it doesn't, that is always a concern because that's how most medications work. Everybody
Yes.
wants to boost the immune system, which is why elderberry is not an option for people with MCAS or autoimmune because it can boost and they can have a cytokine storm. And
Yeah.
acemannan doesn't work that way, thankfully.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Well, so on
great.
that, let's talk about dosage then, because
Yeah.
there isn't there on the bottle. Obviously, there's a fixed amount they recommend, but I take them in fistfuls. I'm a little bit like you. I go hard or go home. But yeah, what kind of is the range depending on what people are trying to, like you say, move the needle, how quick they want to move it?
Interesting. It's safe for babies. They say as young as 6 months. I started my baby at 4 months on it because she had horrible reflux. And I can tell that story later, but usually start off with one a day just to see how your body responds. And then you work up from there. Basic maintenance dose is 1 to 2 capsules a day. And therapeutic dose is anywhere from 6 to 8. So a lot of people experiment with it. I think as the immune system starts to communicate more, you become more intuitive and connected, and your body will let you know if you're taking too much. It's not like a side effect, but I'll use my sister as an example. She was taking 8 a day like myself. And after about a year, she started to feel like I almost feel like I have a sour stomach. So she lowered her dose to 4 and now she's fine. So she just would do 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. And just recently she was out traveling and didn't take it with her. And she came home, she's like, "Oh my gosh, my allergies are out of control." And then she stopped. She's like, "Oh, I wonder if it's because I stopped taking acemannan while I was gone."
Wow.
Wow.
So I know I say it's not something you have to be dependent on the rest of your life, but again, the body does take time to heal. And nowadays, life isn't what it used to be.
Yes.
Between the pesticides and the microplastics and the metals and the glyphosate, our bodies are,
Yeah.
whatever's in the sky,
Yeah.
our bodies didn't used to have to deal with that. So
Yeah,
everything is
exactly.
exacerbated.
Yeah.
The immune system is really fighting now.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I've seen some of your content. You also talk about the upregulation of stem cells, which is something we're particularly interested in because we use phototherapy patches to elevate ours. But talk a little bit about the stem cell activity.
That's like a byproduct of the immune activation, the immune
Yeah.
regulation, I should say.
Yeah.
So once the message starts moving downstream, because they're produced in the bone marrow and it is part of the heal and repair, that's how the stem cells get activated through the line of communication,
Yeah.
really.
Wow.
It's they've done some studies where they've used like they soaked sponges in acemannan and used it in a tooth socket, and we're seeing regeneration of not just tissue but bone as well,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
which
Oh
is
my
impressive
gosh.
because most people think if a bone breaks, you can fix it, but you can't grow any more bones. You can't regrow teeth, which I think
You
you can.
can. You can.
So,
You,
but
Robert
it's
and Rebecca proved that in the 60s or 70s.
yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I might be needing that because I'm like, I
Yeah.
haven't been to the dentist in years. I'm so afraid to
Yeah.
go, but
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
most
yeah.
people are. Yeah.
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 In layman's terms, it's really just through the line of communication that starts to happen
Yeah,
once
okay.
things start.
That's a byproduct. Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. And you also mentioned recently about nitric oxide and peptides too, because yeah, peptides are all the craze. So people are doing that. But we're like,
I don't know if she's going to watch this podcast, so I'll probably have to apologize for it later. But a good friend of mine, she's big in the biohacking world. she had a bit of a peptide scare from combining too many. And I was like, Ace Manna would never do that. Because when you're working with synthetics,
Exactly.
it's synthetic signaling,
Exactly.
and the body's not designed to function off synthetics and to heal that way. And when you're using something like Ace Manna, that's exactly how it works, is through signaling. So the repair is actually happening. The messages are getting clearer. So the body's able to repair and hopefully prevent in the future. But yes, again, with the signaling and the nitric oxide, it doesn't produce it. It triggers the cells to, oh my gosh, I'm like reading the sentence in my head because I literally was just writing about this. It is, again, another byproduct of the activation.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and that's another thing with the betalins too. They do a purified extract with betalins, which is just a pigment from beetroot,
Yep.
but increases the oxygen within the blood circulation, fights inflammation, helps to purify the body.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
and again, it's plants.
Yeah.
And people just I feel like I'm so sad that they underestimate the original medicine. Allopathic's
Yes.
only been around for 100 years.
120
Right.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any safety concerns with medication or any other kind of supplements or anything?
Again, I'm like, it's so special because blah, blah, blah. It doesn't interact or interfere with any medications
That's what I
because
thought.
it's not like a typical supplement adding anything into the body. It's working on a communication level. It's quite literally a glycans, a it's a polysaccharide, but it is composed of monosaccharides that perform as glycans for communication, cellular communication. It actually makes them work better because as you're repairing the gut, restoring the mucosal lining, the nutrient absorption increases. So what you're doing starts to make more sense, but it's also protecting because once you support the immune system, if you're going through something like chemo that can be very harsh on the body and destroy a lot of healthy tissue, that sort of helps your immune system you're like playing catch up with it when you're taking it. But there's no limit to how I've taken almost a whole bottle in a day, pregnant, and had nothing happen.
Right.
If I'm fighting something, I'm like chowing Ace Manna and fruit. But it doesn't, yes. It's amazing because people start taking it. I'm like, don't stop your medication.
Yeah.
Obviously talk to your doctor, but a lot of them are noticing that they're able to lower medication because it's working better than it did before because that line of communication's been restored.
Right.
Oh,
That makes sense.
that's really good to know.
Yeah. That's so great.
And it gives so much hope. I do. I get my back up a bit because you're talking to so many people who are conditioned to input equals an reaction. I'll take this drug and then I'll suppress this. And I've even noticed that people who are using things like alternative, like we call it alternative, but it was the original, right? So reaching for a supplement as opposed to reaching for, and I don't even like using the word supplements, but as opposed to a medication, that it's the same thought process. What do I take to suppress this? It's a completely different paradigm. It's what can I take to support my body to fight with the best fighting chance to deal with this and let the symptoms be okay. Like we've got no room in our life for letting the yuck, the ugly surface, but it's really important to hold space for that.
Oh, for sure. And in the world of natural healing, it's always going to get worse before it gets better. You have to make room for that emotionally and physically.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times when people are like, I'm having some symptoms, I'm like, it's okay. Maybe lower the dose and take it easy, drink some more water, but it's okay. That happened to me when I first started. I went heavy. And have you ever had a candida bloom? It's like it's usually, I've struggled with candida my whole life, but I would get these patches like on my chest and my back and my
Yeah, I
feet.
have one. Yep.
And they're super itchy. Sometimes they weep. It's horrible. It's very unsightly. I would get them a few times a year. When I was doing the 8 capsules of Ace Mannan, within about 2 weeks, I started taking it. I got the worst I'd ever had. It was all across my entire back, my entire upper thoracic. And it's nothing touched it. I tried bentonite clay. I tried apple cider vinegar. Nothing was, and I'm like, I guess I just have to suffer. And I knew, I was like, this has got to be the Ace Mannan because it was the worst one I'd ever had. It lasted about 3 weeks and I have not had one since.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, maybe it's the final purge, but it does it.
so
And
great.
you think that the skin, it's the largest organ of elimination. The body's going to get rid when it's ready. make way.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
I would hope that anyone who's seen our conversation with you today would treat their aloe plant and start thinking about consuming it as opposed to just slathering it on for sunburn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
still great for the skin,
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
but you
Oh,
should eat
definitely.
it.
Yeah.
You should really eat it.
But
Yeah.
you're missing
Yeah.
out if you're not consuming
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And you've
Laura,
got a great video where you go through and where you teach people how to properly slice it, cut it, freeze it, all that stuff. It's very informative.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
you said you've been writing. Is it just for socials you do, or do you also have like a blog, like on Substack or something?
I'm actually in the process of trying to get a website together so I can do that, because when I make you cannot put all of the information in a post.
No.
It's
No.
just, it's impossible. And I've
Yeah.
been reading and researching and re-educating myself for 2 years now. So I've started doing things in the boards app so I can send that to people. So when they're like, oh, tell me about this for allergies, or tell me about this for autoimmune, or what even is this? So that I'm trying to make it simplified. So they're like, okay, that makes sense. And then I also give them testimonials of people that I've received, and eventually there will be a blog, hopefully, because it's not, acemannan has been the one thing that changed my life in the shortest amount of time with the most impeccable safety profile.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to share something that was safe for children, safe for pregnant and nursing moms, because especially when you start understanding some of the mechanisms behind inflammation and what it really can do to the body, there's something called maternal immune activation. And that's when a pregnant woman, you get sick, some type of infection, and there is escalated inflammation ongoing that has been linked to neurological disorders in the fetus.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant with my first 2 children, I was sick all the time for weeks. I had the flu in the middle of summer in South Florida. Who does that happen to? I think we all know why. But with my 3rd pregnancy, I didn't get sick at all. And that was after taking acemannan. I had the fastest postpartum recovery,
Wow.
the fastest birth, like it was amazing. But it's a lot of, and someone the other day messaged about dyspraxia, and there's no genetic link to it. It tends to be hereditary, but they're looking at the correlation between premature birth and certain things that happen in the pregnancy. And they're linking specifically neuroinflammation to a lot of mental disorders like autism and
Yeah.
depression, anxiety, bipolar, stuff like that. So I think inflammation is not the root cause. I think the immune dysfunction, the immune miscommunication is the root cause. Inflammation is the next step. And then everything cascades from there. But once the communication is clear, there's so much more room for healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Awesome.
I was going to ask that last question about if somebody was going to get started today, what do you think the good first step would be?
First step, if you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go for it, I would definitely start with 1 a day. You got to drink water. You got to move your body. You got to make sure you're pooping and peeing. And if you can move lymph, even better. If you can sweat, even better. The more you can do to support the body is ideal. Some people take it and change nothing about their lifestyle and still
Yes.
have improvements.
Right.
But I would slowly work up over the course of a couple of weeks, work up in dose if you have something more serious going on. If you're just like, oh, I just need some relief from my allergies, I would say 2 to 4 caps a day is great. If you have autoimmune, or if you're going through some type of treatment for something more serious, I would definitely work up to a higher dose. Some practitioners are suggesting upwards of 15 to 25 capsules a day if you're if you're doing ongoing chemotherapy.
Wow.
But those are obviously much more extreme cases. I myself have taken 30 to 50 in a day fighting off sickness.
Wow.
And it really does make a difference. Like when I tell people, I'm like, it works in a pinch. So if you don't want to give it to your kids every day, I make popsicles for my kids. When they're sick, that's all they eat. And sickness, I think they've been sick a few times in the last 2 years, and none of it has lasted more than 3 days tops.
Wow.
So-
That's great.
And it's
That's
just because
great.
when you have nothing compares to a fully functioning immune system.
No.
No
that's-
drug, no supplement.
No.
And really listen to your body, because I think your body will say, hey, we really like this, we want some more, or we're good right here. Let's just stay here for a time.
Yeah.
And always write down your symptoms before you start.
Yes.
Because like I was saying, you don't realize how when things gradually disappear, it's leaving your cognitive, not like your awareness. And
Mhm.
then one day you're like, oh my gosh, I can run, I can jump, I'm not sneezing, I can pet a cat. This is amazing.
So and thank you for bringing it up, our pets as well. So people can use acemannan and aloe vera with their pets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great
What are some of
idea.
the stories you're seeing about that?
I have read one the other day about, it's not the other day, but the dog was diagnosed with bladder cancer or kidney cancer, went in for some scans, started the dog on acemannan, scans started coming back clear, dog was back to his normal self. Ear infections. I have a
Yeah.
pit bull, and if you have a pit bull, you know that they get really nasty ear infections. I couldn't even touch her ears to put it in, to clean them out or put drops in or anything. She wouldn't let me touch them. I was like, I'm just gonna give her acemannan and see what happens. In 3 weeks, they were completely cleared. No smell, no inflammation, no itching, no shaking of the head, like
Wow.
infection completely gone. And that is one of the most common messages I get is about
Yeah.
dogs and their ear infections or dogs
Mhm.
and their allergies.
Yep.
People are like, this vet has got us on all kinds of medications and it's not changing anything. 2 weeks on acemannan, 0 allergies.
Wow.
So yeah,
How much do you give your dog in that instance? How much? What's the
I say anywhere from 2 to 4 a day. And
Yep.
then when you see improvements, taper off to 1 to 2. My dogs get 2 a day each just for like preventative maintenance. But like my border collie she's 12 years old and she acts like she's 5. Like I really feel like aloe vera is the fountain of youth. I know people say
Yeah.
peptides are, but aloe vera is the fountain of youth.
Yeah. Wow, that's so great. That's so
Yeah.
great.
I give my dog the aloe vera juice in her breakfast every morning. The first one
Aw.
was a bit dicey. She had really runny poos, but we got over that. But yeah, because she's been sneezing a lot lately or whatever. And she's pretty healthy other than being nearly dying because she was stung by a bee. But no, she's really healthy. And so I just give her some in her food. But yeah. Also I save the acemannan for if it's really urgent.
Yeah.
But you also talk about, just briefly, I want to mention now that I've raised it, that not all juices of aloe are created equal as well. So can you talk about some of the things you look for in sourcing your aloe juice?
I used to drink just the regular store-bought aloe years ago. It was like my nighttime cocktail. And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing so much good for my gut." But little did I know that those juices have been pasteurized and filtered and overprocessed. And when you cut a leaf and that mucilage, that gel is super thick, and then you're drinking this thinned out watery juice that burns going down. It always burned my throat. I think it was the preservatives. It doesn't even compare. And there's no active acemannan in it because heat, exposure, and time are all really degrading influential factors in that molecule's lifespan once the leaf is cut. So it's not going to have any in there. If it is, it'll be fragmented and really
Right.
not have any bioactivity. There's a few things because drinking the aloe is still very helpful for ulcers and digestion. And for a lot of people, it's helped them with reflux and constipation. But you definitely want to source stabilized acemannan if you're looking for immune support and immune
Mhm.
modulation. But at the stores, the IASC is the bare minimal when you're looking for allergies. That's just saying this is genuine aloe juice, and we've verified that through lab testing. There's another seal certification from Allos Allosorb. Trying to think of what it is now, or not Aloe Cure. Drawing a blank.
That's all right.
It'll come to me. It's on a few of them, and that's saying that, okay, there are active compounds in this aloe juice. So that's the next step up from the IASC. Active aloe, that's what it's called. It's
Yeah.
active aloe. And it will have active compounds for sure. The amount is not really regulated. They don't really disclose any of that. I personally like a company, unfortunately, they don't ship to Australia because I would love to send you some. It's called Haley Nutrition, and they are about as close to growing it yourself as you can get. The aloe vera goes from the plant to in the freezer in a jug in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
do, they do their in-house processing. There's no preservatives, no heat, no filtering. And that's always my top recommendation. But yeah, the stuff at the store. And when you
Yeah,
think about
you're
how
not gonna get
easy
it at the store. You do have a link, though. I'll put all these links in the notes for you guys when you watch this, but you do have one that's from, Queensland in Australia, whatever, and they produce organic, and they also sell mature plants and all that sort of stuff, and so I order for those guys, and it's not, the juice isn't as chunky as yours, Laura, I see, that, they're nowhere near, but it tastes pretty aloe-y, and it's more viscous than other aloe juice I've seen poured out of a bottle.
Yeah, considering how cheap and easy aloe is to grow,
Like what? Yeah, exactly. Get growing, guys. Grow your own. Cut a leaf, put it in the freezer, and then what? Would you put it in the blender and just chug it?
I cut, drain, skin, and eat when I do my own plants. Like the faster the better. You can freeze it, of course. That will help. That will slow the breakdown. But again, once you thaw it out, it's pretty much not, it's not going to have much acemannan anyway. It has other polysaccharides. There's other glucomannans in there. And the nutrient profile will still be there. It's still a great mucilage hydration. But again, the stabilize is the way to go for immune
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So shall we switch gears to modified
Yeah.
citrus
We wanted to
pectin?
pick your brains about the pectisol
Yeah.
Okay.
and modified citrus pectin, because we've both Jody and I, we've had our own health journeys, and we've done the detox thing, heavy metal and all that sort of stuff. But how did you come across citrus pectin, and how did that impact your health journey?
I actually had he's a practitioner out of St. Louis. He's actually a frequency, he was a microcurrent, micro frequency specific microcurrent practitioner. So I was going to him, he does body work and correlates it with frequencies. And he was like, "Oh, you should start taking this, by the way, because it'll remove the glyphosate." I was like, "Oh, cool." That company does have a product specifically for glyphosate. There are no direct
seen that.
studies
I have seen
correlating
Wow.
Pectisol with glyphosate. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a great binder. It can bind to galectin-3. So
And
I
tell us
feel
what that is. What's galectin-3?
so galectin-3 is a protein. Everybody has it in their body, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. At elevated levels, that's when it starts to create a problem, because the elevated levels contribute to fibrosis, which is scarring of the organs. It enables tumor and cancer cells to travel and metastasize,
Oh, wow.
and raging inflammation. So stress, poor eating, lifestyle is the foundation.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
You can mitigate so much, but
100%.
Pectisol specifically has been studied for the past 30 years because of its ability to bind to active galectin-3. So when the galectin-3 becomes elevated and active, it can bind to it, and it inhibits, it's like a Velcro, and it inhibits the galectin-3 from enabling the cancer cells to stick to tissues
Oh,
around the body
wow.
and tumors and tumor cells.
That's
It's a great,
huge. Oh my gosh.
it's not, again, it's not a guarantee, it's not a
Yeah.
provision, but I have received quite a few messages from people, specifically with breast cancer, that they were like, "Oh, my doctor put me on this after the chemo, and I haven't had a reoccurrence since." And I've had people message about SIBO improving and leaky gut improving, because it's a prebiotic too, another polysaccharide,
Oh, hello.
but it's derived from the pits of citrus. And
Okay.
a lot of people think modified. They're like, "Oh, it's a GMO." That's got nothing to do with it. It's modified because it has to go through a specific pH and enzymatic process to break the pectin fibers down small enough so that they get absorbed and into the
Okay.
bloodstream. So
Wow.
it's not like taking charcoal or something like that, because it's circulating the whole body. It's not just sitting in the gut. If you eat just the pectin or just the pith, then yes, it will be in the gut, and it's a great
Right.
prebiotic, fiber, etc. But the modification allows it to be used therapeutically by the body.
Wow. And what makes this, and I believe it's also a really good heavy metal detox?
Yes, they did a
Yeah.
study. I should pull up the study so I don't get
Mhm.
the percentages wrong, but they've done a study and it's safe for children. See, she's got it. They did a study even in
Shameless
children,
plug.
and within 24 hours, they were seeing huge numbers of excreted heavy metals, like over 100, like in the hundreds percentile of heavy metals being excreted. So
Excreted through sweat, poop,
urine,
urine.
urine
Oh, wow.
predominantly, but the cadmium, mercury, lead, and arsenic are the main ones that it binds
Oh my
to, heavy metal
gosh.
wise.
Okay.
So it's a great source for potassium. It's a prebiotic fiber. I like to cycle it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen you mention that.
I started with 2 scoops in the morning, and I had headache the whole rest of the day. And I was like, oh, it's probably not the pectin. I'm just probably tired. I just kept doing it, and I had a headache for the week. I was like, maybe I should lower the dose. I lowered the dose, and the headache ceased. So, word from the wise, again, start off low and slow.
Yeah, because I get really when every heavy metal detox I've tried to do, I'm like bedridden. I know I have lots of heavy metal still in my body, and I've
And
done
we both
I've
have the
done
MCAS-FR1 gene, by the way.
yeah, and I have
Mm.
a zeolite. If I do the really light zeolite, it's okay. But when she told me about Pectosol, I was like, okay, this sounds more up my alley because it seems to be incredibly safe and it does a lot of different things, not just the heavy metal detox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great for overall gut health because
Mhm.
it's a prebiotic. And the safety profile, again, it doesn't displace any other minerals. It doesn't bind to anything essential, which there's mixed opinions on whether or not zeolite does that.
Right.
I've seen some stories firsthand of people having adverse effects after using it. Maybe it was the detox, maybe
Right.
minerals were leached. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I like to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I agree because some people have great experience with zeolite, some people don't. It's very controversial when you talk about it, but this seems to be something that would be so much safer regardless of all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on the bottle, so I've got the tablets, the capsules. So it says to take six capsules 3 times a day for maximum support, or for a maintenance, take 6 capsules a day on an empty stomach. So I'm doing 6 capsules twice a day.
How are you feeling?
So I was a little bit achy. A little bit, just a little bit, but I soldiered through. I'm breakneck. Go hard or go home. And so I'm like, oh, we'll see how long and I'm fine. Honestly, it is. I'm fine. I feel fuller, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
I got the powder and I haven't tried it yet. I've got to, yeah.
But so you go back to cycling. You said that you cycle it. So you're obviously taking acemannan and Pectosol together, but what does it mean when you say you cycle it?
So I take acemannan daily without fail, but with the cycling, I like to do Pectosol 1 month on and 1 month off. I want to make sure it has something to do,
Yeah.
but I also don't like to I don't like to take a lot of supplements anymore.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, and I don't want to overburden, my body's already stressed
Yeah.
with my lifestyle. I don't want to stress it even more. And even though Pectosol is very gentle, you know what a heavy metal detox feels like. And just that week of headaches, I was like, I just need to scale it back a little bit. Like, don't go too hard on this one yet. But yeah, I cycle because you have such fast results as
Yeah.
well. It's not like you have to be taking it for months on end to see improvement or to experience. The studies show that it works very quickly as well.
So side effects would be like you said, headaches, anything else?
Some what?
Achy joints.
Yeah, achy joints as it starts pulling stuff.
Yeah,
I've had a
exactly.
few people say that they had really loose runny stools, and I was like, okay, go down to start with a quarter of a scoop. Because some people are way more sensitive, but when you start adjusting that microbiome, it's inevitable that something is going to give.
Right.
Constipation is not, I think I've had one person out of I don't even know how many say, oh my gosh, I took this and I couldn't poop the rest of the day. I was like, how much water did you drink? Did you exercise? What other foods did you eat?
Yeah.
But yeah, side effects, they're not really heavy on the Herxheimer's. I've not really had that feedback, but mild headache, definitely a change in bowel movements and consistency, fatigue, achy joints. I think that's pretty much what I
And
get.
what about any kind of interaction contraindications?
According to the company, no. I reached
Mhm.
out. I had a lot of specific questions for the company because people are asking me and I want to be able to have
Mhm.
an honest
Right,
answer.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
they said it doesn't interfere with other supplements. You can take it with other things. They said depending on what the person is taking pharmaceutical wise, you might need to space it out
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing thyroid medication or
Yeah.
chemotherapy or something like that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes. What question are we up to, Jody? I choose to know.
Yeah. So 15, I think.
Oh, you've scrolled all the way down.
But it sounds like she's been answering some of the questions.
Yeah,
So
no, I know. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Because I was thinking, so how long before people will notice a positive change?
I've had people report back as and one dose and they were like,
Yeah.
first time I slept through the night in months or years.
Wow. That's great.
I'm like, I want that, but I co-sleep, so that's not going to happen.
Right.
But everyone's different. Some people, it's usually anywhere from a few days to a few weeks tops. It's not, again, I feel like you got to give stuff the 3-month trial, you know, whether that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
jobs, relationships, skincare, like 3 months. And if anything changes, then you know something's working. And
Something's
if
working.
nothing changes, but
Yes.
again, write down your symptoms.
Yeah. 'Cause
You know?
sometimes people don't know, oh, wait a minute, I can sleep better. And I didn't realize I was having a hard time sleeping or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And so, what if you had to pick one thing about citrus pectin that more for more people to know benefit wise, that what would that be?
Honestly, because you have no way of knowing if you have elevated galectin-3 unless you do lab work.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm more of in a preventative maintenance mode right now and not
Mhm.
necessarily trying to detox or trying to do anything crazy. I just want to help mitigate things that are out of my control. So heavy metals and galectin-3, at least even if you're just cycling,
Yeah.
you know it's binding to something.
Yes.
You know that it's lightening the load a little bit.
Yeah.
To what degree you would need to go deeper, but at least like in my mind, like the acemannan is supporting the system, the
Yeah.
pectosol is kind of cleaning out some of the gunk.
Yeah. That's a good way to
So,
put
but
that's
yeah, I would say because heavy metals, they find them in baby food, protein powder.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and
Yeah.
well, they're in the air
unless
now that we breathe.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're in the,
Yeah.
definitely in there. So what's next in your health journey? And are you exploring new areas or new products or anything?
Because I have quite a few books on aloe, and because I've been reading those and rereading those, like I'm still in the fascination stage.
Yeah.
But as weird as it sounds, I've just been given a little information that I really need to look further into about chamomile tea and the immune system. Which you hear chamomile and you're like, it's sleepy time tea, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's the same with aloe vera. It's like it's for
Yeah.
sunburns.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
do they know
Right,
it
yeah,
has
like dandelion root, like that. A lot of people don't even know about that, and that's amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So watch this space.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
And Laura, so we've put your socials up. Is that it for across all socials? I know it's not for Instagram.
Yes,
Laura
Facebook
Ramos.
is just Laura Ramos, I think.
Okay.
I can check real quick.
That's right. I can look you up.
Yeah.
Because you're more on Instagram and TikTok anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started just pulling. I did the automatic pull from Instagram to Facebook, and then I went to check Facebook one day because I'm hardly on there, and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of people here now." So now I'm finding myself having to check it more regularly.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. I get way more messages maybe because I don't do automations. I want to talk to people,
Right.
and I did do automations for a short time because a lot of people just want the link.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want the link. But it started to feel kind of icky and like it was just I'm just trying to sell you a product, and it's not like I want you to understand it, how it works, why it's safe, and it may or may not resonate with you.
Yes.
But I also want to be able to have a conversation because if you do start taking it and something goes wrong or you feel like it's not working, we can hopefully troubleshoot and you do have progress because it's like it has changed so many lives. And I feel like when you implement lifestyle above all else, everything's going to work better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your content alone is highly educational. It's
Yes.
very information rich. It's very
Thank you.
simplest, very easy to understand for people who aren't scientific. And if you want to go more scientific, then I'm sure Laura's got more stuff to throw at you. But you'll have to give me the names of those books that you mentioned so that I can stick them in the notes for the audience.
And we'll also have links if anybody wants to buy acemannan or pectosol.
Yeah, absolutely. But Laura, thank you so much for being with
Thank you so
us.
much.
You're
Been
so
so
welcome.
much
Thank you.
fun.
I'm like, this is such an honor. My first podcast.
This I can't believe it because we've been following you for so long. I just
It was always
Yeah.
on the cards because, you know,
Yeah.
we wanted to, we've got ideas of people who are like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we could have a conversation with
Yeah.
them. Yes, because we're all, Jody and I have always been about health sovereignty. So it's what people can do and to equip themselves, pack their own parachute and not have to rely on an outsource. I know that for the acemannan capsules, you have to rely on a company to ship them and or whatever. But really, when it comes down to it, you can grow your own aloe in the meantime.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. We really appreciate you. If you want a copy of the recording for your own socials, then
Of
I'm happy.
course.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. This is
Awesome.
great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.